Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, possibly good morning, wherever we listeners in day, at home, meaning Sierra Leone and abroad, meaning here outside with the host and day and the producer of the show, with they abroad. But the basic point now forget back to we folks them back home, now make with the broadcasting crew. So everybody is welcome. Welcome to una all for tuning in. And una will go tune in later. Today is Sunday, March 16th, 2025. As usual, again, happy Ramadan month because we're still into Ramadan. So we'll not forget we're trying to be in the spirit as much as we can, regardless of your religious affiliation, if you have any, because there are more than one religion in Sierra Leone, and then you get some people who are not even want to get any affiliation with any religion. So happy Ramadan month to everyone, regardless. Ramadan Mubarak, as we will say. So I get my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot. Mr. Victor Mengot, who lives in Surrey, England. When are they always the broadcast or join we in this broadcasting from? And then later on, Mr. Jallo Jamboria, when are we regular invitee host, go also appear. They go join we pretty soon. So all three of us are supposed to be on the show today. And as usual, we get the same topics. We'll make some continuation. And so before I go to the continuation, it may be wise for me for just go ahead and go over the the numbers. Then people can go reach me just in case you get any questions or comments. Then where you go able to reach me for send your comment or for make you call. So let me just start since time, because the show is restricted to 2 hours only because of the try for avoid overtime because of fasting. I want to make sure, say, of course, people back home have already broken their fast, but if they too will get for go nafila, when at the prayer where you get for go after you do cut fast, after you do your first prayer when you cut fast, then you get a series of prayers where you do usually around then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at the mosque. So the time is just perfectly suited that people in a Salone go to listen to we, whereas we now will try for finish the show on time or in time so we can break with fast. Now, we are coming to you from the VOS Network. And the VOS Network will get telephone numbers, we'll get radio stations, we'll get mobile phones, we'll get all sorts of way for reach way. So let me start off by just repeating the toll-free number, which is 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. That's the North American toll-free number, which serves for purposes of this show with the talk about North America, where you go include United States, Canada, and Mexico. So if you didn't have any one of them three countries there, just call the toll-free number I just mentioned, and you will be able to come through. Then if you're calling from UK or from the UK, then it's +44 2080891455. +44 2080891455. If you're calling from Australia, it will be +61 2909843337. +61 2909843337. Now, if you want to call, regardless of where you may be in the United States, outside the United States, Mexico, outside Mexico, Canada, outside Canada, whether you're in Sierra Leone, the universal number for Richway and the WhatsApp number, when a 1-343-997-5828. 1-343-997-5828. You also can catch we at a radio station in Freetown, when a 91.9 FM, 91.9 FM. To get that station, you need to download the app, because if you try to do 91.9 Naya, you will catch an American station. I guess the same may apply for Canada, Mexico, anywhere in North America. So because I get a lot of FM stations. So go to the mobile app, go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, forget the Voice of Salone mobile app. If you get for download the Google Play Store, or go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, forget the Voice of Salone mobile app. In addition to that, we are carried on a variety of sources, our platforms. YouTube, go on VOS Television. Facebook, VOS Television. Twitter, formerly Twitter, now called X, VOS Television. And then you get, if you want to go on the website, you get VOS TV website then. You'll go on www.vostelevision.com. vostelevision.com. If you want to go on the radio, on the website, if you want to catch the radio, you will get for go to www.vosradio.com. I'm sorry, vosradio.com. www.vosradio.com. And I don't mention the Apple Play Store and the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Let me also bring to our attention that we get what you call a non-profit, VOS non-profit diaspora scholarship program, which is www.vosdiaspora.org. www.vosdiaspora.org. This is now for less financially fortunate students. They want to do very well, but the parents do not get the financial wherewithal or resources for keep them beginning and going within a school back home. So any contribution to the trust fund, to the scholarship fund or the scholarship program will be highly appreciated. Okay. So let me also just mention, let me just give a minute to my co-host for introducing himself. And in fact, I will ask Mr. Mengot to introduce also to what the topics for today will be, or to introduce to we what the topics for today will be. So to you, Mr. Mengot.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. And today, as usual, we will not talk, say, are the wishing and greetings from Surrey. Also, we did, like we're Muslim brothers, we did a holy month of Lent. So we hope, say, the supplications of the Lord will carry us through. As in a month of restriction, although we are fast strictly like the Muslims, but we have taken very serious in the Christian calendar. And happy Sunday to the we go church today. But as usual, we program them on Sunday now, VOS review. With a review waiting at the trendy things on social media, mostly for do with the country in Sierra Leone. Seeing the way people in the talk about either through radio or television, then a tongue, or through other social media platform. Before we start, I want to Rob Motspan first, before I go telling you what's the main topic. We all don't see this Donald Trump, the new president, he don't come, and he try for say, make America great again, MAGA, you get the MAGA movement, right? We in a Salone, we say Salone, business, and all man business. And one of the things that we trend the media this time, now the fact that say the US states don't get a list of countries them we then categorize as to how they go deal with people in a country, then they we want go and get visa. We will go into that and talk about that, waiting at the implication and the challenges for people. Now, just if you now remember, the terror been gets COVID. I travel a lot, so COVID again, they been get country there again where they come out for England and I should say America, where they may give us a color bucket. And they're always the color we, even though they call it colored. I remember COVID itself, you been get green, you been get red, you been get orange. So now the same thing, we'll explain about that. But we main topic tonight, now as we've been telling people and say, we will continue for deal with this issue of the tripartite agreement. Where that agreement saying that the one we've been do between the two main parties them and the people the way they support we when it comes to governance and elections, when they make their recommendation, they principally will they concentrate on things for do with how we they manage elections, the systems and processes, thing them for do with who that for take control, the policy, the regulation, and all that thing in there. So now then they go in our main topic today. So we are going to discuss the 5 recommendations. Recommendation 4, we deal with compliance with Audit Commission. We will go into detail how the ECSL will provide the annual audit reports. Electoral Commission's this recommendation 5 will talk about the difference between the Secretariat, now the ECSL, and the Electoral Commissioner. Then we will explain that there. Then resolution 6 or recommendation 6 will talk about how for functional review what the ECSL they do. They'll talk about election cycle and the format for election. So over to you, Mr. Shyllon. For now, Rob much more waiting at people and they do we come Africa on this announcement about visa and waiting at the implication for people then, especially down the way they back home where they try to get visa for go America, because people they go America for different things. So man they go visit friends and relatives. So man go out there can go go for good get education, or some man go and go into conferences. Also we already say we offer a minister, we don't say is someone the American ambassador. That's what they say. They want to use the same one. Is someone and for let go explain this to we. So over to you, Pa, if you can throw light on this thing way happen.
I wish I can, but Mr. The control room, if you could put the list back on the screen, make we just, for the one that would follow we. So we could just point out. So far, this is what we get on the screen now. The categories or the list itself, the restricted list of visa issuance to people around the world. Then break them down into a color code as to the meaning of, like Salone, we fall under the orange category. We then say visa sharply restricted. Then of course you get the red category, then you get the yellow category. And so far, I think the yellow category gets the most restriction in terms of countries. So then get different things they wouldn't put there. But going back to Sierra Leone, if you follow the list, if you look at the yellow, the orange category where we fall into, there are 10 countries. And let's bear in mind, they say proposed list. So it doesn't look like they have taken a definitive action. They may already have taken it, but who doesn't go by the topic, by the title of the list and say this not just some tweet and propose. So there are 10 countries, as we can see: Belarus, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, Pakistan, Russia, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, Turkmenistan. Now, what is so interesting about the grouping of Sierra Leone with some of the other countries under the category is that Sierra Leone seems to stand alone in West Africa, despite we have so many neighbors: Guinea, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Gambia, and on and on and on, Nigeria, Ghana. But Sierra Leone seems to be the only country named or selected now this category of the orange category from West Africa. Then, of course, then we go all the way East Africa, you get Eritrea. Then, of course, you go to South Sudan, where also now in Africa. So it's a strange category that Sierra Leone falls into. Well, one for see if it will remain. Well, first of all, one for know how true this list or this listing is, and how strictly applicable it will become. But then put under we on heading that visas sharply restricted, whatever that means, because this is vaguely worded. Because me and the producer we talked earlier about vagueness and wording of certain things. So it may have been put that way there because what that sounds like, it gives broad or maybe extraordinary discretion to the interviewer in issuing or denying visa applications. That to the point when they say sharply restricted, it could be for any reason. It could be that you don't look as handsome as you're supposed to look. It may look like you're here too long. It may look, for any reason, the interviewer may just decide, say, they give you the visa, maybe without even giving any explanation. Of course, you get a yellow category, which has a significant more number of, then say days, 60 days to address concerns. So again, Liberia, unlike Sierra Leone, has always fallen in a different category with respect to privileges of the of status or immigration status in America. We have never been treated the same because Liberia is always considered a child of America. So, for example, when we get TPS, temporary protected status, years ago when we get the war, which we were granted, but that was quickly lifted. And the Liberian continue. There are still people here on TPS status at the United States, whereas that status for Sierra Leoneans has long been over. So this is the thing. So we in Liberia, when it comes on immigration privileges in America, we are not on the same category at all. But Liberia fall under the yellow category where they say that, so it looks like they fall under the more liberal interpretation of the restriction, where then say then get for put with respect to countries. I don't need for name them, but then the main partner, the one at the top, the red category, where I think impose some serious restriction on people them, where come out of country in there. So we're primary concern as Sierra Leone. So the red category, you get about 10 countries there, like Sierra Leone 10, but 10 countries there. But you only get Libya, you get Somalia, you get Sudan in Africa. The rest them they go, that's the red category made the talk about the red category, but then you get a lot of so-called radical countries them where they fall under the red category. So we don't know. But Sudan, Somalia, they are part of that group there. But again, going back to Sierra Leone, we would like to see how that is going to turn out, whether obtaining visas coming to the United States is going to be highly, highly restricted, or is it going to be an abusive process where it could be subject to the whim of the interviewer and the embassy, and or whether they are going to issue any type of guidelines, But already people say visas are being restricted, unlike when the Biden administration was in power. So we just want to share that because it's a trending issue. We want people for make up their mind. If you're already an applicant and you get an upcoming interview, this give you food for thought. You get to think of what your chances are, how you will approach the interview when your time comes. But just get that in mind for say we are being, I'm not going to say, I hate for use the word blacklist. We are being listed. We're being listed. Let me put it that way. Not blacklisted, because blacklisted are not to anything black. Or not for be associated with the negative. So we're being listed. With that said, I think that is enough by way of public service to the general public, particularly the Salonian public, who have not heard about it or not know about them or not see this list yet, and they contemplate for apply for visa for country to the United States. Take a look at this list and start listening to what happen. And please give us a feedback. I can call we for tell we which are the common thread, which are the area from people and we'll go for interview, whether it's just a rumor or whether in fact people are being turned down in large number. Okay, thank you. Let me go back to my co-host, Mr. Mengot, for let we go to other topics for the day. Unless Mr. Mengot gets something you want to add to what I say.
Yes, I get something for add. Looking at the list, and I don't want to prejudge waiting daily, but from my knowledge of the visas issuing system in the UK, which is similar to America when they do the listing. Because if you look at the red list, now mostly countries they will get conflicts them. And they go afraid say if person get visa, he can't say, he get more chance for seek asylum. Because then the courts to go, because there's no way you go deport somebody going to a country of danger.
Mm-hmm.
That is why if you look at all the countries that are on the red list, now a place that we get unsettlement or some of them terrorist activity. See them when they talk about terror. The medium risk, when it comes to visa, when they say severely restricted, normally when people and they apply for visa, if you go on government business, and say America and the UN Day and all the rest of it, those people definitely, they're not going to stop you for, you go get for apply for a visa, they go treat you visa relative very easy. But the one there are things that could be affected for we in a Salone, where they say restriction, let me say, say people like can go where they get relative in America where they invite them for go for different functions. Whether a birthday, christening, burying, that also a serious issue. So it depends on the purpose for which they go. So they get restrictions of renting and so I would say we country there in the middle ground. But as me co-host say, it's not clear why they categorize and that way. This is not just my own assumption based on the knowledge of visa issuance. But we will let reviewers them for come back to it, and we will monitor the situation, and we will let people that we don't go through the visa system and let them give you the experience. So that said, let's go to the main topic for today. Because last week, when we broadcast, we talk about this electoral governance. And why important for us to talk about the Tripartite Report? Because the Tripartite, as we've been saying, now the report will say, therefore, look at how we the old elections then, and how we they manage the process of change. We come for how we elect how they deal with people then. So we deal with one last week. We deal with the one we deal with publication of documentation. Then the other we deal with ID card the voters registry and all the rest of it. Why is this important, Lord tell Fambulem? Because this tripartite agreement, for once, the two big boys, the two parties, then they agree, say, 80 recommendation day, where they say we need change. And what do we need change? We need change in our governance system. More so, how they manage elections. Because from the last experience, we see say we've been getting this PR system where although not the third term we use them, but this one will use this and anchor with a situation where the smaller parties then for the first time in Sierra Leone not able to get enough candidates them election or even get a single seat. Because remember, say even now start from during the Pakaba in term, I'm sure we get MPs them from other parties them apart from SLPP and APC. The same with Aneskroma in term, we will get MPs them from C4C, we will get MPs them from NGC, we will get MPs when are independent. So this new PR system means the way we then do them, although not illegal, as I could say, because it in our books, it in our constitution, and it gets a question mark because we get two systems 30 days. We get one winner first past the post, winner we not always use, when the constitution and section 38. Then we get section 38A when I bring the PR system under President Kaba in 2002. And the first thing that then legislates, when they get agreement from all sides for like going our books. Okay, why did they bring that PR system? Number one, we constitution say we forget census every 10 years. So the last census we been get have been 1991, just before the coup overthrow President Joseph Saidi Momo in 1992. So we not be able to get census in 2001. So there was no figures for law get census, and the census figure they use for determining population distribution and for determining boundaries there for constituency. Because normally you get one MP where they represent constituency. And in our own days, the constituency they be easy for no. I will give example from the Western region. We will get East 1, we get East 2, we get Central 1, we get Central 2, we get West 1, we get West 2, we get York, Waterloo, and Regent Mountain District. But now, the constituency, they are number, they're not plenty. Because when I say constituency 101, 102, we're not able to know that. And for complicated matters, under this PR system, what we introduce is that people in the vote for candidates according to party list. So it means that the last election where they do them, the small party there, none of the parliament. Is that what we want for our system? If not, there's urgent need for law pull and come on our law. If we not pull on our law, we will go back to the original intent. We say you bring the PR system one because you get unrest in the country. There's people that may try for settle them. We not get census for boundaries. We not get constituency. It should be clearly defined. And also, if it's not clearly defined, we're saying on special occasion, but we left and loose so, and I happened in the last election, the ECSL can choose for use them on the advice of the president. We don't want that to happen in 2028. So these are part of the things that we get for look into. Although I don't know, I will check if that is covered under the recommendations. But the tripartite recommendation are 80 recommendations. As time goes, we'll let people learn waiting it there about. Today we can deal with 5 recommendations then. And I don't know if my colleague want to talk anything about this PR system before we start with the first one. We're very important. We're in a recommendation 4. We say the ECSL for comply with the Audit Commission Act for provide annual audit annual report which should be audited by the Audit Commission. And I'm going to explain more what that they mean and why they bring down as a recommendation. If Mr. Shyllon got anything for talk, I can explain that afterwards.
Yes, sir. Just very briefly, with respect to Section 38 and Sections 38 and 38A, the PR system, we cannot emphasize it enough. You can't get two laws which regulate election at the country. Mr. Mengot already explained why the other law, when at the PR system controlled by Section 38, I believe, was used by President Kaba. That was because of the absence of so many other things that we should have had at the time, but we were just coming back from the war, and then we'll not be getting in there. It is not good for the country that the politicians, them, or the sitting government is aware of it, but leaves it on the books just because it may be advantageous to the government. Because these are repeated mistakes than what they make. Laws on the books that we know are not good, they are not beneficial to the country, you know. Because why would we want to have two sections of laws of legislative pronouncement in way to control election? So we either need for repeal the PR system, which most that was only used under exceptional circumstances, and let's go with the Section 38A, or the other way around. But we cannot have both of them. Now, it serves no useful purpose. It serves no redeeming social value for just get two contradictory laws on the books regulating the same conduct or activities of the people of the country. So now that moment we want to say, and the ECL should not be empowered to have a choice of which law discretionarily can the Electoral Commissioner or the President of the country applies when it comes to any specific. We should have one law, and that law should always be monitored. If we really mean well for the country. Now, but if we take the country as a toy, we will not consider it's important enough for the country to get a steady code we for comply with, everything for be subject to chaos, confusion, uproar. Well, we are hurting ourselves and we do a great disservice to the country. So maybe just want to touch on that for say ECSL should not have the discretion of applying whichever law, the election law they choose for apply. There should be one specific law that ECSL must be permitted to apply, and we should stick with that. Election laws should not be at the discretion of a president, because I cannot think of any president who not going to take the one way advantageous to them, you know. So, and again, Mr. Mengot be the talk about the constituencies then, where they don't get so many constituencies and you know, so and they don't give them so many names, so it's hard to keep up with them. But I was just going to just mention those things for say it's time for we to begin simplify things for effectiveness, for progress, not for simplify things to confuse and put we backward. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. So I think say now let's start with this recommendation 4 of the Tripartite Report, where it talks say the ECSL, like any other state agency, for be subjected to the Audit Commission Act Wetin the Audit Commission Act, wetin the talk we mean by that? It means say anything wey dem dey do, they get for look into that. Number one, what does the ECSL do? They do procurement. Because when election they come, now they get for procure the ballot papers them. Now they get for procure the ballot paper them. Then get, because remember, say the last election, self, they may go rent ballot box in a Guinea. Where will be sewed and they wash the ballot box in our side. Is that what we want for our country? Do we provide enough money? And the other thing is, how do we fund our elections? Right. Another controversy we've been there at the time. Welcome back, Mr. Boye, Jallo, Jamboria. You want to rub mouth first before I continue, or you want to let me continue, then you will come back?
Okay, sir.
Which is it?
If you say what you said, what, sir? Sorry, I didn't hear your last statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you come, we talk about, we rub mouth on this business of the two systems of voting. We'll get
Okay.
the PR system and post, where you don't get a lot of things talk about. But now we don't start with the recommendations them. Now the Tripartite Report we deal with elections management. Last week we been dealing with two recommendations. The one for deal with access to information, which means any information where ECSL gets, then get for put on their website, is accessible to everybody. What do you mean by information in this case? If they later on other recommendation, nothing for do with the voters register. People for able to check now the site for say if they register, they able know what the constituencies them, they able know during elections and after elections them, the votes that were counted, the ones that were tallied, and how then they reach results. We will not talk about that. So today now, we will go to recommendation 4, which I just start when I compliance with Audit Commission Act. So welcome, you can introduce yourself and say small thing about this, then we'll continue on that.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I no need for waste time on introduction. All man sabi me, including me, they me Amadabio. So I no need for introduce myself. If I can briefly talk about the two electoral systems we'll get in Sierra Leone, just for make my own contribution. And I did do so from an informed point of view, in the sense that I don't live in Sierra Leone, I don't day there, I don't vote there, I even don't take part in conducting an election in 1996. I was at the Methodist Boys High School, Kisimes. Then I don't come in a countryside and they use the PR system. I have been elected in the PR system in Norway. I served 2 terms from 2011 to 2018. I know how the two systems they operate. I know the social reason for using the PR system in Scandinavia, and I think Germany back they use the PR system. Now I make them always they get this coalition government. And I know again say, for make you get a PR system for operate properly, there are certain levels of technology where you go need, or social infrastructure where you go need, where we not get in Sierra Leone. Since the one where they may start this talk about PR system, I came out to say we are not ready for it. And I still stand by that word, say we are not ready for it. When we are talking about that electoral law, I came on the platform where Rachel Bangura, Mengot at that time, and said, we are not ready for it. You see, now we left for the adopt things them, we're not culturally good for we. Governance is about improving and using your culture, not going to take what you don't understand for use them. We always say we get the British Westminster culture. Yes, that's true. We were colonized by the British. That culture is partly what we know, so we can improve on them. But for go take a system who not been used before, for can begin use them, there are a lot of implications. And I want to say, if we not try for use systems that were culturally adaptable to we needs as a people, we are going to continue to polarize our society than unite it. Governance is not about being a bully at the top. It's about leading a people for make everybody participate in free will. It no matter whether the person they talk Mende or Locos or so, or Hosa or Kiswahili. If he then as Sierra Leone, let you able to participate in what they do in Sierra Leone. So everybody will be a contributor to building the wealth of the nation, distributing the wealth of the nation, and taking part of the wealth of the nation for himself according to input. This is what politics should be about. It should not be about having a set of people in power being the lords and the others not being in power being the serfs. That's not politics. And now this system will get now West Africa, now I make West Africa today backward, not only Sierra Leone. Look at Africa, you see other parts of Africa, they make progress because then they use what's culturally adaptable. In West Africa, we always will cry the colonialists caused this, but we are the colonizers using the methods of the colonialists in West Africa. We always want for putting systems, we go there to we advantage when we are in the upper end. PR system is not culturally adaptable for Sierra Leone. It can only work in societies where the trust level is high, where Boye Jallo and his neighbor can sit down and discuss politics over coffee and biscuits. They don't cuss and fight. That's where PR system works. In Sierra Leone, it cannot work because in Sierra Leone, everybody looks at politics as a war. We have to go and fight for it. And you don't fight for a PR system. A PR system is a way to distribute power to everybody. That's why in the PR system, you have a list of candidates. One being the top candidate, then you have other candidates who will be given different responsibilities. Because power has to be spread out, functions have to be spread out for everybody to be part of. And in the PR system, every political party, irrespective of its size, they get a representation. In our own PR system, the number of political parties in parliament has reduced. So we have made nonsense of PR. It's not PR. I'll give it another name, BOR system, because that's what he wanted. PR does not work that way. It doesn't. Proportional representation means you give everybody a chance, but based on a criteria set for a percentage met by each person or each institution or each geographical area. It's another way of decentralization, if I can put it that way. You decentralize power by spreading it for everybody to feel I am participating. You don't centralize power as we have done in Sierra Leone. So we have to forget about PR system for now. Let us use what is culturally adaptable. Constituency representation based on the fact that each constituency will choose somebody they believe and trust to represent them, is what our traditional system operates on. We have a system where we choose somebody to lead and we follow. So use the constituency. Stop wasting time and putting the nation's welfare at risk. I'll end there, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's go to the real recommendation then we have been to talk about. Because in the constitution, it make provision for an audit service commission. Audit Sierra Leone, so called AASL. Yeah. And we see what thing be happen the first time in history where the Auditor General been found wanting by Parliament. But not that we want to talk today. What you want to talk today? Now, this one for do with the ECSL, when the body will get the responsibility for run election of country. Before they change the name to ECSL, which is Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, it was National Electoral Commission, NEC. So let's go back to last election. Remember saying, how will they finance re-election? Will they finance re-election through grants from other countries then? And me and one person, we always be against that. And I'll tell you now why I dey against that. Like a parable. It's just like when you are married woman. You get somebody else who can help you pay the dowry. It will reach a time where that man they go and claim ownership of that woman.
Married woman. Love, say and simple.
Huh?
Now
What's
not
it?
two married woman. Love, say and simple.
Now two married woman. Oh, look at we election. Now we want to make election. We they call UNDP for money. We they call America, USA for money. The last one, the Irish themselves been giving money. Right?
I think
So when they give money,
the 2018 election, they been put money.
yes. Even
2018,
2023. So when they give money, it means say they get interest in who that get for be with president. They get that interest. Then they come with the election. When the elections observer they come, now bring this tripartite. We get the taxation, we get other than the European community they come because they say they do money. But when they can they observe, then give them reports. Side will say we not agree, the other side will say we agree. Let family understand that bring this tripartite. Because they tell we say, some of the observers they tell we say they doubt the result. Some other say, well, the result is fair. But they recognize the president. That's fine. So now, when it comes to this one now, what's in this recommendation they talk? If we last election, they may get a budget where they go procure electronics equipment, then the software and everything for do with the election. Even if you remember, I think they may get some laptop back. They can procure vehicles them, right? Also, one of the other controversy now the side and they go print ballot paper them, ID card, voters ID. So all this one they say, all their reports then they, or their activities then they get for follow systems and procedure on a tongue because we get Public Procurement Act. We get people that they deal with that public procurement thing. So it will be transparent. Because one of the things the other people in the argue say, like for instance, when it comes to this voter ID card, the previous government they say when they're ready for procure voter ID card, they call all the parties them involved. themselves and civil society, they were transparent as to who that they do the voter ID card. They go explain, tell them how they make the voter ID card. But this time now, we get voter ID card where first, they not been tell we who side and print them, right? But then, even with the elections material, remember say them tell we say the ballot paper and they come out one side, we don't know who side and come out. Then they may say plain delay. So now all them processes then they, if they're transparent, then do proper procurement. We the people that way they go vote before no. And then money then they will spend. Both the one way government spend and the one way the donors and give we, ECSL get for account for that. It has to be audited, let them satisfy, say, we actually use the money judiciously. And I'll make one statement here. And if I deal with we in the diaspora, because we get vested interest in that country today. Why we get vested interest? Because they don't change the law. They allow dual citizen. We are allowed to. If my own assumption, outside Sierra Leone, we get 500,000 people then. Within America, within England, within Australia. Now we forbid the custodian of the states. Because if we get 500,000 people, each one just give $100 for election. They will be involved. Now we go be the election monitors. We don't need to go for Irish Aid or UNDP or America for fund re-election. And why we go give that money there? Therefore, allow we set the system. This is the electronics age. Let we able vote USA we day. Because now, if you're not diaspora, you get dual nationality for take part per election. Number one, you get for pay money, go register as a voter, right? Then get the next stage where you get voter ID verification. Then you get the next stage where you go vote physically. So that is a lot of money. So by the system we'll get, it don't disenfranchise we, according to my own view. I stand challenge. So let's stop there. Let me other colleague and then comment. First to you, Mr. Shyllon, on some of them what they explain, then followed by Mr. Jamboria. But if we're able to read the comments the way they come, because I think it go better if we are the control room could put some of them comments here, Lord respond to them before people then begin making them phone call. By the way, the phone lines are open. So Mr. Shyllon, over to you. You can read the comments and we can answer, and then yourself can rub much on this thing we are talking about now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. There's a comment on the screen right now that reads, this issue culminated from the APC gerrymandering exercise, which led to the creation of new districts and a province only in the north, and a province. Okay, I think the question, I think we know about new districts, but we don't know about new province. So I think maybe that's not how the persuasion in the comment meant it. Yeah. So then there's also another question as to whether gerrymandering is workable in Sierra Leone. Well, it is, because the question has been answered by the previous questions. Okay, I get some calls then, but let me just finish this comment. The question has been answered by the previous comments, because the previous comment already say by gerrymandering, they were able to create, the sole purpose of the creation of the two new districts, Karina and Falaba, in the north, where a process of gerrymandering, whatever people they understand that to mean, but it was an unfair process just for the political party in power at the time undue advantage, not an advantage, but to give the person advantage, undue advantage, meaning advantage where you don't deserve for just stay in power. So that's what I think one can understand gerrymandering to mean in the Sierra Leone. And somebody asks, is gerrymandering workable in Sierra Leone? Of course it is, because at the end of the day, gerrymandering, I forgive the other side, particularly the party in power, undue advantage over the other party, not equal access to fairness or whatever. I happen to have been one of those people, or the few, who have claimed that the creation of new districts in Sierra Leone was a total waste of time, a total waste of money, completely unnecessary, and was done for the sole purpose of just giving undue advantage to the party in power at the time. But it's of no benefit to the country. In fact, it's a waste of funds, because when you open a district, you create a new set of bureaucracy, because you get the chief administrator, such as the district officer. Then you get, for depending on the size of the district, you get assistant, sometimes more than one assistant district officer. Then you get for staff, create the supporting staff from the district officer's office to the sub offices then. So then we cannot be creating new offices where we know say these people are salaried employees, and then with the complaint say we not get enough money. So first of all, it was unnecessary. Then Mr. Mengot talked about the fact that we not take elections even seriously to the point of trying to finance it ourselves, financing our own elections, and it doesn't call for much. I mean, we're not talking about $1 or $2 or $3 million, for the printing of ballot papers and setting up. I mean, just imagine, sometimes where is our pride? Would you go borrow ballot boxes from neighboring country boxes? I mean, if worse come to worse, couldn't we ourselves, we local people, the metallic industry, what they call them blacksmiths and carpenters, them. These are two set of people who can make ballot boxes in the thousands for we. It's shameful, it's disgraceful. But we know why that is happening. It's not because we don't get the ability for doing. Now corruption at the motivation, because then it creates a situation where them go from the ballot box abroad. So if it costs we 100,000, we will claim now 1 million. So it's a standard practice, because some of these things, and we know they help the local industry. The very government they killed the attempt, because they blacksmith them, or the metallic people, them pros them in the country for if a metallic ballot box they want, or carpenters are not being given then kind of a contract there. Just imagine if you give a local a blacksmith shop, or 2-3 of them in Sierra Leone, for prepare thousands of ballot boxes. They will have to hire people, they will have to pay them. So why not give them people in there and the business than for send it overseas? This is a very simple, basic work. So again, we want people to understand. This not got nothing to do with APC, SLPP. It's a disservice to the country. And some of you should understand that we've always felt, APC and SLPP, people like me, have felt that these two political parties are two sides of the same coin. Regardless of how that coin they turn, the value has not changed, it's the same coin. So we just want people to understand. And what we preach now, improvement of the system. All these tripartite recommendations, them. Now for we on good, there we go again. Now foreigners them. Now then they try for tell we how we for behave for help we safe. We're not they try for level down for improving the system. We're not for say we not get the sense. We're not for say we not learn the book. Selfishness, greed don't overtake we reasoning, we ability to reason. So we don't care how adversely it will behavior affect we conduct, we just carry on. So these are some of the things. So Mr. Peter Dumbuya, Mr. Peter Dowda, I think Naimbi sent that comment today, just know about gerrymandering, whether APC now then they gerrymander the system. Of course that was wrong. Of course it should not have happened. Of course, what benefit did it benefit Sierra Leone? You know, even the North, what would they talk about? The people are then two districts. Is their life more improved? Is there, you know, than any other part of the country? This is a great disservice to the country. That's what we're saying. So, new district or not, it should not be that way there. Let me take a couple of calls and then we'll go. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where's you to call from?
Now, good evening again, man.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mustafa.
Hello.
Yes, we're on.
Okay. First, I want to mention now the fact say, Mr. Kabwa, I want to tell you plenty thank you the establishment of the radio station, because some few people tell me in the week when I'm a family member, they see they hear my voice na a radio station. That's wow. So viewers they listen to all the talk, because it's not the beginning of the change where would they look for, because the information where would they get now if purely not for go before, not to forgo and blame people. And let's talk about the PR system, why they in our constitution first. During the 2002 election, they want to make election, but will not be get constituencies. Now make this Pakababi legislates they can't put on a parliament for let them put them as part of the laws. So them put them as part of the laws. They put them 38A. That's an option, so that the election whether they conduct that time, it not be an illegal election. Because Pakabana a lawyer and he want to respect the law. So as soon as they don't make that thing, they don't try for expunge them. But the left hand they think see nobody no go use them. But as it is, whenever you get bad law, there's always a person, somebody will look for the opportunity for exploit them. This PR come all as a result. In stage town hall meeting with the president. Now he talks. You know, things if you can make the PR, you go get more seats them. Now the president notes that in it, because it's all about seats, not to for improve the system, not to for make the life better, than for just parliamentary seats, so that they do all the things they would want to do, like as it is now. So now they can count them. So where then go to court, I go come to that back. The APC can challenge the thing, say no, it's not going to be used. It should not be used because we have. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, the ECS no mandated say they must make new constituencies. If they're not able, if they can even make it and say we'll make constituencies, they will just make the same. You don't have to change them if you don't have the figures to make constituencies. But because they want to make the system favorable to them, when they're going to court, what did the court say? They're not judged on the challenge when they say it is not the primary source of our election as a result of a matter of fact to get constituencies. Then the judge talks, say yes, the president get the right for declare PR, which was not the question. As again, account to the system, what we talk about, say the power they in the hands of the president, where we say the judiciary get for do what he want, the police then get for do what he want, because otherwise they're free for letting not sack them. So mainly make we get that PR. We should not forget that if we forget institutions the way independent, we not to the president they tell them what he want for make it be, it shouldn't have been. So now the thing this way I want to make as my first anyway, like just shortly what Mr. Mengot say back about the donors them way for fund elections. Now because donors they not fund this election, so we pass now we learn who's out this, so because now they fund the election, they think they can do anything and nobody will ask them question. On the other hand, if I follow finance we election there, but if we do them, we feel say we go do anything we want. Somebody for ask questions. Then make we be end by this tripartite. I go left for us for the man. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much. We'll go comment on that. Let's take one more call. I'll take one more call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from? Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from? Hello? Hello? Please turn your system down. Turn your system down. Turn your system down. Hello? 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 Hello, caller? Caller?
Hello, yeah. Hello,
Please turn your system down. Yes, sir.
And Mr. Jallo Jamboria. Una, good evening. Yeah, this
Good
is
evening. All right, sir.
Yeah, I just want to more on the issues that we want to discuss so far. I want to start with the proposed travel ban or restriction on visas.
Okay.
I think according to the research where I do, if you read Reuters self get a list where they come up with according to their own findings where they do from somebody with inside the State Department or the USCIS. Then put Sierra Leone at the yellow list instead of the orange. Then not put winner. Then according to their Reuters their own list, Russia 41 countries, Russia and Zimbabwe, they amongst the restricted countries. So I don't know, but it's subject to conjecture anyway. But from what me understand, the list so far, I get to understand, say, the US get, especially with Abbas Sitani take power, then get concerned over certain things the way. So that's not being campaign mantra about immigration. The citizenship by investment, where countries and they go find out, say, the Caribbean countries and they book up some of them where they give citizenship by investment. So I know if we don't get them now. A few weeks back, I see the immigration and come up with that. Then they realize say there are loopholes in vetting and screening of then so-called people in the way they go for that citizenship by investment. Some of them they come on and then ban countries and they then go in and they screen them well, then give them the citizenship. Then they also allege then countries and they fail for share with the US vital information about incoming travelers. Then of course the purported inadequacies in security practices in the issuance of visa of passports. And so I think that some of them things and then they look out. But I feel that Sierra Leone, we self we are guilty in how we issue out passport. I don't know if we do some few months back. There was a Nigerian guy who was accused of murdering his girlfriend, and he escaped. He went away from Nigeria. Then he landed at Sierra Leone. Then he can't get Sierra Leone passports. So some of them things, and the documents, of course, they are public. The State Department get for nobody. They go always they know what them things. So now there are some of the lacunas in the power system. Then when it comes to the proportional representation, not to say a bad system anyway, but like I can always tell and say this Alusane Alasan, like way you, Mr. Shyllon, we talk this now two sides of the same coin. They always believe say political shenanigans, chicanery, and subterfuge, nine go able for propel the stain of power. You know, the lack of sincerity of purpose between the two political parties there. Now that's time they did we show to this tripartite way with this. So there's lack of transparency and accountability. That the two parties they do things where it suits them. And even they propose constitutional reforms with and beyond now. And not go come into being safe until 2028. Then go the Madam President Boye go drag him foot because they enjoy the benefits of the 1991 one party constitution. They go call it one party constitution. We give them enormous powers. You know, go on for relinquish that power while he did not the seat of power. We just like waiting the Magna Carta in 1215. The Magna Carta in 1215. King John no one relinquish some of his powers them. And he want some of them power than they. But when they force them for doing now it makes so now the same thing with this 1991 constitution. Nobody no one relinquish in power. He was just hold on to in power. So now some of them things and they make clear then always they hold on to the bad the constitution for suit them purpose. Because there is lack of that sincerity of purpose as far as the two things are concerned. So they're always going to find ways and means for dodge the right thing for let the right thing be done. So
all right. Okay.
Okay, the support of elections. Like where I always they say, who pays the piper calls the tune. If the West now they support the electioneering process, now they get for dictate who they want for be the president of that country. So it is high time that they'll never be able to do things by mistake. Therefore, if we don't do for them, we don't win ourselves from this dependency syndrome. We always try to Mother Europe from stream. That anything you want to do, wait for cost $50,000, $100,000, $1 million. We will always go capping and begging to the donors. Them they go fed up because this election you just go invite them for them and come monitor, but not of them for fund your election. So now some of them think and they like we let everybody be involved. Even we in the diaspora, whatever we're able for chipping, we able chipping say okay, well now this will want for them electioneering process. They go like we not go buy a box, then transfer bowl and the way they sell ya. You don't have party, they go ask for that. So some of the things they are just tell us all a stop super. Maybe I will call back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mengot, if you can bear with me, let me just take one more call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Hello?
Hello. Go ahead.
Hello? Yes, sir. Mr. Shyllon?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Welcome to the Three Wise Men.
Thank you so much.
Hello?
We appreciate that.
Yes, sir. The topics, and also the topics for the day is quite different of what I want to come up. I don't want to distract the topic, but I really want to hear my own contribution. Just a few seconds. Hello, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for distracting the topics. But I just want to hear a few things. In reference on this First Lady attitude. Mr. Shyllon, is this the way First Lady for behave? Behave in a way that they call people a dog? They call it First Lady? That means say if they call it a man in appointees them dog. That means that if they cost we Sierra people them indirectly. We Sierra people there indirectly now cause it dog. Because if he cost a man employee them dog. That means it costs me now indirectly as dog. Is as not acceptable, disrespect. It is disrespectful. It's not fit for me with first lady anymore. It's not fit for me with first lady. And also, I don't know for accept her as the first lady anymore. It costs him body too much. And body not question too much. And Sierra Leone will stand up and put her in a place. It's not fit for people first lady anymore. And Sierra Leone will accept them for people first lady anymore. Because you get an honorary degree, what academic degree get? No honorary degree get. Even if you human, I'm not going to get that degree there. What academic degree get? No honorary degree get. Where they picture people like that. It's a gross picture. We Sierra Leone know to accept that. Sierra Leone has stood up and put this woman in position. Now privilege to get through a man. You're not getting in business now we administration. Now through a man we give privilege to do first lady.
I think so. The caller will not express himself well because it deviates for the topic. We don't get a chance now.
Yes,
because I think say it deviates for a topic. We go get boku thing for talk. We don't take note of that.
I'm so sorry about that. So there, that's my comment.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Mengot, to you, we'll go comment on some of the commentaries that we come in, but in the meantime, let's move on. So, Mr. Mengot, you can go ahead because we'll get a few people that will send in some written comments them all will take along the way.
Yeah. One thing I want to say with the last call as then we come in, one, this election, I think Mr. Fode Mustafa say, it is not true saying that the government funded entirely. There was a basket of fund from UNDP and Irish Aid. So there was some external funding. We not ever get election at Salone, which is 100% funded by government. That is why this recommendation we talk about say the ECSL for comply with the Audit Commission Act, which means say even if nation they get for make an open, say we were donated this amount of money or this materials. So that way we not go get all in doubt as to who that pay for what, how much they pay, and waiting na the thing where they pay for. So let's stop there. Give Mr. Jamboria time for comment on this first one before we go to the second recommendation 5. Over to you, sir, Mr. Jamboria.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. You see, we can discuss all of these recommendations until thy kingdom come. We will never get it right. I am a realist. I've moved away from book theories. Sierra Leone does not exist as a country. That's one reality every Sierra Leonean get for begin face. This is why 64 years after independence, we are still having problems. I have taken 5 years to prove that, and by the grace of God, that book is going to be published this year. Sierra Leone exists as a caste system put together, but with these people from different clans not understanding or having different perceptions about what Sierra Leone means. But for all of them, there is a common denominator, which is Sierra Leone begins and ends with the region they are from, the people they know, the language they speak. It's a harsh reality we have to face, but that's the truth. This is what we export into politics. We have been saying Tom and Jerry, Al-Hussein, Al-Hassan. We can give these political parties any name. But our social psychology is what determines what is happening in our society. Man is a thinking animal, and we become as we think. We shape our environment. We create our realities. All of these recommendations may be fine to read, but do we have the spiritual composure to implement them as they should be implemented? Do we have the psychological understanding to implement them as they should be implemented? If you ask me, I'll say no. And with time, you'll prove it, it's no. If we want to make Sierra Leone a better place, you see this issue about gerrymandering, yes, we do it because we are ignorant of what to do right. But dividing Sierra Leone into governable units, all under a national umbrella called Sierra Leone, will bring us better results. This is why of late, after doing my research, I have come to look at how can we bring traditional leaders into governance, take them off politics, bring them into governance, put emphasis on development on the chiefdoms. Allow chiefdoms to plan their development within national policy frameworks. Allow them to execute their development within the same national policy framework without interfering in the chiefdom. By this I mean, if you are talking about Koya chiefdom in Kenema, let the people of Koya chiefdom in Kenema plan their development within a national policy framework. Let them hire a contractor from their chiefdom to do the work. Let every chiefdom has its own administration. The first advantage of that is it's going to cut across party politics, because everybody has a moral and an ethical obligation within his own area, which he recognizes as his own Sierra Leone. Secondly, within those units, it's easier for people to monitor compliance. We should move away from making the law an issue of enforcement. It should be an issue of compliance. Because when you make the law an issue of compliance, that is when you begin to build trust in society. Trust is the factor that is absent in Sierra Leone. There is trust, but it is limited to our clans, our districts, our people we know. I trust Victor Mengot because I know him. I trust Mr. Mohammed Shyllon Esquire because I know him. But I may find it difficult to trust other people. So how do we build that trust? Because governance runs on trust. Without trust, there is no governance. No law can function where there is no trust. Sierra Leone is a case study. We have some of the best laws you can find on earth, but the laws don't work. It works for people who trust each other. If you are not within that circle of trust of the same people, the law can be used against you. If we want to make Sierra Leone, yes, these implementations are fine. The electoral systems can be fine. But PR, as I said before, works where there is a high level of trust. It doesn't work where trust is always questioned. One thing we must recognize is that at this material moment, Sierra Leone is a society where trust is always questioned. Whether it is done right or wrong does not matter. It's always questioned. If it is done by the APC, SLPP question it. If it is done by SLPP, APC question it. So when can we stop this pendulum? When can we stop the politics of grievance? and begin to practice the politics of participation. The recommendations, all of them may be good, they may not be good, but the intention behind it is what matters. I am saying all of this reading from some of the comments made especially by Peter Dowda. Gerrymandering, yes, it was. But saying that gerrymandering is more costly, I don't subscribe to that, Mr. Shyllon. Rather than we gerrymander, let us have the administration go down to the chiefdom levels. We have 150 chiefdom. Empower 150 chiefdom. In the beginning, it's going to cost more because you have to build administrative units. But in the long run, it's going to save the country billions of dollars. Because once you have a system that is sustainable, once you have a system where everybody will feel at ease to contribute, then you begin to build Sierra Leone. There are other ways we can build Sierra Leone, but that does not matter today. What matters today is how do we set up a political administration that is sustainable? Let us stop talking book. Tripartite is all book. I know people will question what I'm saying, but 5 years after today, you'll come back to say, yes, I was right. It's all book. They'll tell you implement this, but the psychology is not there. Then go make all Mohammed go come back at if election 2028. Where PC want talk and charge them as terrorists. That's the end of it. I'll end it there, sir.
Okay, Mr. Mengot, what say you?
Well, I say reasonable minds do differ.
Precisely.
So we thank you for your contribution. But what is the key issue here is that for me, I really appreciate Mr. Jallo Jamboria's approach of power being decentralized to the chiefdoms, because at a system we don't need the work. But for now, the key issue is one thing about our country. The moment election done, right, where people are aggrieved, people they celebrate, instead of us thinking of in the country, we start talking about the next election. And why is it important for us to look at these recommendations? They're a reflection of what had happened, things that had happened in the past, not just this last election. And I will say to my fellow Sierra Leoneans, 2028 elections is going to be very crucial in the future of Sierra Leone. Because don't look at this way now. Both parties next year is when they are going to get their convention to choose their flag bearers. That is 2026. The election is in 2028. That is, for the next 2 years after next year, that's all that we're thinking about. So do we want to use the same system? Let's talk about gerrymandering. Both sides are guilty of gerrymandering, not one side. From time immemorial. Because even with this system, you gerrymander using the loopholes in the law. They are not illegal. As long as it's in the law, people can use it to their advantage. That is what we want to stop. Which will bring me to my next recommendation 5. And I will hold peace. If you get anything for, say, Mr. Shyllon, then I will talk about recommendation 5 in the report. It's very important.
All right. Let me just go to the, thank you, Mr. Mengot. Let me go to some of the comments. Like Mr. Tyler is saying, Mr. Shyllon, if, as you say, SLPP and APC are more or less the same in competence and character, Why can't we stick with one and avoid the expense of changing governance every 10 years? Well, the short answer to that is sticking with one means we believe that we only have alternative between APC and SLPP. But let's don't forget the reality on the ground is that there are smaller parties. And time again, it's proven to us that when the smaller parties are allowed to participate, they had made the difference. APC came to power as a result of assistance from the other parties. It is in the best interest of the country. I am opposed to these two dominant parties that have equally a record of absolute, well, I will not say absolute because there may be exception, but a record of, consistent failures. These two parties, their governing styles are the same. Their approach to governance, is the same. So, but we cannot restrict ourselves to the two parties because what Mr. Tyler to say now leaves us to accept the situation as just these two parties them exist. And we have been saying the system for allow the participation of as many minority parties them as the system can sustain. So I don't think that we option for just get one party in power, because the reason why some of us argue that these parties are two sides of the same coin, the record is there. They have not produced the type of leadership that the country requires for progress. It's all a governance of greed, not of progressiveness. It's a matter of people coming, want to get instantly rich, and by so doing, they enrich strictly for the government coffers, and thus impoverish the country more and more and more. So we are talking about getting a system whereby we can maintain some degree of balance. However way we come up with them, the only way we can come up with them now for accept like comments from Mr. Tailu, comments from Mr. Peter Dauda, and other Sierra Leoneans who are listening and participating, because we're talking about ideas. We know the current system is not working for the best, in the best interest of the country. Yeah, so that's what we are saying. So we are talking about how do we go about improving the system. Someone sent in a comment and said, I wish Jallo Jamboria can one day find himself at the receiving end of gerrymandering. Well, I take exception to Mr. Jamboria, but I'm not going to elaborate on that. Because my comment was in the context that creating two political districts or provincial districts, which was for the sole purpose of, which came about as an act of gerrymandering the system, only adds to the waste being committed by our government. That was my point. My point was that the expense wasn't worth it, and gerrymandering undermines the sincerity of the system. That was all I was trying to get at. But we should just, my overall thing is simple. Mr. Peter Dauda, Mr. Tailu, and Mr. Mustafa, what they call from England, the gentleman from Maryland, all of whom are extremely bright and sensible people, forward-looking people. So it's ideas. Let us not forget to say the progress of mankind depends on ideas. So before we make it into a reality. So, but when we get diversity of ideas, we could pick the best. Put so many things together and try for progress. That's all I have to say. So I welcome the diversity of ideas, and I think it's in the best interest of Sierra Leone. Everybody is saying smart things. We just have to move forward and see. But the current situation is not working because there are no checks and balances. And it's getting worse and worse and worse, and the country is getting more impoverished. that's the point. We have to find a way. The Europeans and the Americans are doing the best they can for us, but we cannot always rely on them, because now we see a situation where Mr. Trump said everything is finished. And I think sometimes that's another issue. We raised that last week or week before. For say, is that good or bad? The termination of USAID, is it good or bad for us? I take the position that it's good for us, but that was an issue we had to deal with. So again, just going back, because I'm just trying to not to eat up too much time, I would suggest that everybody's idea is welcome. So please call us, tell us, give us your feelings. We don't necessarily have to agree. Like Mr. Mengot just said, reasonable minds can differ. But I mean, we appreciate the level of contribution coming from different people, even though we are not all seeing things the same way. Mr. Mengot, anything else?
No, let's go to the next recommendation 5.
Mr. Mengot, please let me just make a
comment,
sir. I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Taido. And I want to inform you, I already have a blueprint for that. When I come here to talk, I talk to make Sierra Leone. I'm going to be 70 in the next 22 days. Whatever I can do for Sierra Leone, I'll do it. If people hear, fine. If they don't hear, fine. Peter Dauda, I worked in Sierra Leone from 1979 up to 1998. So I have been a victim of gerrymandering, but I wouldn't say it here. I thank God I'm alive. Okay? I worked in Sierra Leone from 1979 to 1998. And before I left Sierra Leone, I was announced dead officially. That's what gerrymandering did to me. But we'll discuss it at another time. Yes, sir, Mr. Mengot, go ahead.
Okay. Is there any comment you should read? Let me go to the next one because it's very important.
No, they are just callers on the line, so we'll just have to decide whether to move on.
Let's take the call.
Okay.
Let's take the call and then, because we want this to be an inclusive thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because the more the people that tell we exchange ideas, the better it is for all of us.
All right, sir. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
My name is Alpha Sise. I call from the Dominican Republic.
Hello, Mr. Sise. Welcome again. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Una thank you, Mr. Shyllon, Jamboria, Mr. Mengot. Una thank you for the good work. When I message them, they go in vain. People then they listen. People then actually want change in that country. Today is March 16, 2025. Me, they promise when I say APC, SLPB, now lifeline of that country. Then will be a history. We're not worry about them anymore. That's it for today. When I thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, as they say, the Englishman say, brevity is the soul of wit.
Indeed,
so
indeed.
Mr. Alpha said a message very brave.
Yeah.
Now, I also support I also endorse what my colleague, Mr. Jamboria, say, that we can discuss then here till the cows come home, but if there is no trust, no willingness, Salone will change. But nonetheless, some of the issues are pertinent to the system we're now. If I let people understand them. Because now look at who that they manage the election process, the Electoral Commissioner. You get the Electoral Commissioner where when the election car, now in the Chief Electoral Officer. But also, now in the head of the administration. So he get dual role. Is the Chief Electoral Officer, now for announce results, now for decide when for election, although they say for change in consultation. Then we get the Electoral Commission. Who then commissioners in there? Each region get a commissioner. Like we get the commissioner for Western region, we get commissioner for North, we get commissioner for Northwest, we get commissioner for East, we get commissioner for South. And from what we know, who do they appoint then commissioner? The president. And there was a controversy where the other party been argue, say, the law say in our country, for appoint commissioner, it has to be in consultation with political parties.
Yeah.
Not one political, not all, but in consultation with political parties. Right. That's the question, what in consultation mean? Consultation, does this mean telling and say, I want appoint Mr. X, but even if you give your opinion yourself, I still get the power for appoint that Mr. X or Mrs. X or Miss X or Madam X for be the electoral commissioner for the region. And that electoral commissioner for each region, now then they decide what's in the happen. These are the people who most times are expected to supervise the counting of votes, the tallying of votes, and the posting of votes. So it's a lot of responsibility on their part. And if we system allows the number one man get that privilege, regardless of who say come up, because from time immemorial, that was what happened. That number one man, and they decide who do they be electoral commissioner. So what's in this recommendation they say? Because you also get the secretariat when at the administrative arm. Because then they go get elections, director of management, director of somebody will go deal with procurement, you get somebody will go deal with publicity, you get somebody will go deal with the voters register and all that. So there's this two-tier system where you get the one they were appointed as commissioners when they appoint them for a term, including the electoral commissioner. And then you get the main secretariat. What's in the law they say? It said the electoral secretariat now for responsible for elections operations. What does that mean? It means when election they come, and again for make sure say everything is in place. Ballot boxes are available, voter registration is up to date, distribution of ballot papers, managing of the election process. So the policy they say, well, they want and then at the secretariat, and then for do all that. These commissioners now, their role for only restricts to regulation, for make regulation for let they happen, and they not for interfere in the work of the secretariat. That is the recommendation. So you have a split between the commissioners and the electoral secretariat. So that electoral secretariat then they liaise with the political parties for make sure say there's a playing field, a fair playing field. So I want to know what you wanna think about that. First with you, Mr. Jallo Jamboria, then we'll go to Mr. Shyllon.
First and foremost, I believe recommendation 5 is badly worded.
Yeah.
I think I understand what they mean. You see?
Yeah, but if you can read them out for it will be very good, because me not get me glass if you read them.
The Electoral Commission Secretariat must be responsible for electoral operations. The Electoral Commissioner should only be engaged in the development of regulatory policies and refrain from interfering in the work of the Secretariat staff. You know why I said it's badly worded?
Yeah.
They are taking cognizance of the fact that we live in the electronic age, and the election secretariat now the responsibility for count and input the results into the system. And once the results has been inputted into the system, the Electoral Commissioner should not have anything to do with it. It should be announced as it has been inputted. That's what I read from this statement. And I read them from several angles. I live in a system where this is what obtains. In Norway, when they do elections now, it closes 8 o'clock. By midnight, we don't get all the results because every polling station, they input the results we then get into an electronic database. By midnight, everything has come into the database. They know who is who got what vote. Nobody interferes with it. They don't have to travel from polling station to Kagbantama, which is the district headquarters station, before then say, now we take on to Potuloko, we side and go pull now bring a free tongue. No, that's not how it operates. That's why I said the statement is badly worded, because it not show exactly how they mean or what they mean with regards transmission of the data connected with the results. They are only saying the Secretariat has the control over the collection and transmission of data. You see, this is another side about the governance system. We claim to be Anglophones and in control of the English language. But most of us are illiterates in the English language. Even with laws, then they draft them badly because the people who do the drafting don't understand the semantics of what they want to transmit. Semantics is a very important thing in law. It's a very important thing in governance. Your ability to communicate your meaning, your ability to communicate your message is what builds consistency, trust, accountability, etc., in a system. That statement has to be revisited or it has to be interpreted properly, because now some of them statements here tomorrow, somebody they go misuse. Then we begin our constitution not good. Now we not good. Because we want to say things we don't understand, honestly. In the present world, Sierra Leone can conduct an election now. By midnight, we don't get all the results. Because even from your mobile phone, you can get a system installed where they don't count down somebody, take all man, see all the polling officers or representatives they input the data, then send them. And they go electronically into the database. By the time you say Jack Robbins, every polling station don't put you in the database, it's there for us to see. Now with the allowing disaggregated data, we don't need disaggregated data, we need an efficient system. And this is what 5 is saying, but it has been said badly or wrongly. It's ambiguous. It's very ambiguous. So I advise they revisit it and make it clear. The election secretariat deals with the management of the data, collection and input. How should be stated. If they say electronic, then it's there that the election secretariat must be responsible for all electoral data management and inputs electronically. Finish. That makes it clear. After this, nobody not get for ask for disaggregated data. We say Osabi book, but we all know Munku Dembo. Now try wake up in a Salone. I would end it there, sir.
Okay, over to you, Mr. Shyllon.
Yeah, let me first and see if I could take a call. Hello, caller. What's your name? What's the call from? Hello, caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? What's the call from? Hello? Caller, you still on the line? Okay. Well, let's move on because we're almost getting to the end of it, to the program. Let me read one comment again. Sierra Leoneans have been. Hello, caller. Hello. Sierra Leoneans have been embroiled in the politics of revenge for a long time. So much so that they see it as a normal practice. Well, yeah, we take that into account.
It's correct, Mr. Shyllon. It's very correct. The only thing he needs to know, some of us are here talking because we want people to be conscious that cannot take us anywhere. It's very correct.
Yeah, that's true.
Politics of revenge is what we practice in Sierra Leone.
So
it's very correct.
I think the only way to avoid all of that is to lay solid groundwork. For example, when we talk about Mr. Mengot, they talk about a lot of draftsmanship and laws, then they talk about in consultation with. Consultation are one of the most misused words in legislations in Australia. The phrase in consultation can be characterized as a useless phrase that they need for even if the situation will allow it, then for abolish that anybody should be shamed whenever you draft anything for say in consultation with, because it has no meaning. It perpetuates nothing but, I would just call it uselessness. So we'll get for even stop using that word. Mr. Jamboria talked about centralization of power, but I think the main thing we will talk about now, we'll get for deal with the situation as it is. The tripartite is recommending or is suggesting certain recommendation. We are not going to solve all of that based on, but there's a beginning point, like the Frenchman say, or I put it the other way around. Where they ask the Frenchman and say, where you hold the woman in hand, what you make you to kiss the woman in hand? The Frenchman say, because you get to start somewhere. So we have to start somewhere. So this recommendation is not a bad start. Because we don't say what you will get, not the work. It's not being implemented because people are acting in bad faith. So we really need, if we want to make progress, somewhere we're supposed to start. Also, if President Boye, who is in power now, somebody comment, I think Mr. Fode Mustafa say, well, since he's in power, he not go try for do anything for hurt in the privileges the way they enjoy it, fine. But it can help for level set the groundwork so by the time he's going out, and I think the country will not mind doing that it does not affect in current privileges them, but it set the stage by which we will begin to look back and try to overcome some of the obstacles there. So the president, as much as the Constitution gave him so many privileges, some of which I think are not good for the country, it can keep them, but with the same time, by the same token, continue for help from set the groundwork for a better tomorrow. I also want to see if the because as I'm talking, Mr. Jallo posted some comments which I haven't read. If the control room can just post them back on the system, maybe in the process I may be able to address that also. Mr. Jamboria talked about the chiefs. Their role in politics and governance should be changed. We're in agreement. But first, we have to take the situation as it is and then try to work towards that. So that's a good recommendation. But we don't want to begin for conflict, what is being recommended to us now. Let's get that in place. One movement. Mr. Tyler said diversity, as you say, Mr. Shyllon, is the best system for wholesome development, but where there is no diversity because the two major parties are identical and the third parties are no different. Well, I'm not so sure the third parties are no different. But again, that is subject to everyone's opinion, because the theories of Mr. Jamboria are very attractive, and he presents them persuasively, but to put them into practice will require a great deal of radical root and branch changes. Well, this is another thing. In a democracy, it's hard to make radical changes. So you therefore do them within the framework of the Constitution, which most likely will be within the framework of a democratic system, because you are only able to make radical changes when laws are passed by mandates, so it may work, but that will not be achievable. That's all I have to say. So some of the ideas are great. Now we have an inordinate amount of callers. I want to be able to give them as much privileges, but I don't know where Mr.
Before you come with the callers, sir.
Let's deal with the callers.
Let me just finish, sir. My ideas are not radical. Ghana has proven it. Kenya has proven it. South Africa has proven it. And we are about to talk about a constitutional review. There is nothing radical about bringing power to the chiefs. What we should be looking at is, how do we modernize? Modernization does not mean going to take what is British or American. It means improving on what you have traditionally to make it sustainable and workable. And I think that's what Ghana and the other countries have done. Mr. Mengot is a witness to that, because he knows about the Kenya system. They are not radical. If it works in Kenya, it has to work in Sierra Leone, because we're Africans and we have the same caste system.
That's a characterization by Mr. Tyler. I was just reading what he said. Let me take one or two calls. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yes, Nami again, just for make a buttress on what Mr. Jallo talk about organizing elections. I don't witness for organized elections now. Belgium also I don't organize elections. They not get Sienna, they not get Electoral Commissioner where they go appoint is just on side, they get big money. The thing about us is that we focus on not doing the right things. Always we want to do the wrong things, but we want to go before. If they put you in a job, say this job now for come, then they pay you 70 million, 80 million. When I then poor people and the money, then they take, then they pay you. Why can't you just do the right thing? You put them like Mr. Jallo Choco, electronic or not to the number, it will be correct. But we know they just do them so. And I understand Mr. Jallo, if you say, if they left something vague, somebody will always capitalize, like when they put that PR and that constitution. So how did the organized election at Belgium? Then they make a raffle. Now the area owner they like if in a school so they know say then these three streets or 4 streets now they can't vote. They make a ballot from the commune. So the name they will come out. If not 6 people the name they come out, or 10 people organize election, like me name we don't come out, then we get 1 to 2 weeks of training. The chairman for the polling station, he did it. Well, when I need to get more training, I need to train chairman. They now get on training for organize election. So as they say, polling closes. Una count the votes them. Una all day. Una see them so. Una have 20. This get this not 5. This not 3. This not 2. Una submit anything in it. So now make election as they say 1 hour later, election results don't come out. And nobody not get for protest. Because the people then want to do the right thing. They don't get any interest for do the wrong thing. They don't get no interest. What did they do? Because they get polling opinion polls, then they make and eventually they correct. Because they are focused doing the right thing. But we always want to consolidate power for maneuver, give other person advantage, that need disadvantage, then we talk, so we get one country. And you want to let people agree to that and then listen to you. The bottom line here is that we look for a system where we say people should do the right thing, like we didn't give a job for do. And we know it's difficult. And but on the other hand again, when Mr. Jallo talk that issue there, do you the one the way of don't make that law they do you let them not start again like we saw we come out to then make them right so that we not get tomorrow somebody who's on a chair, you do what you want to do. I will let fire for this week. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, sir. Let me go to the next caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from? Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, yeah, Mr. The crew. Good evening again. This is Nabule.
All right. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, I just want to make an addendum to which time we talked earlier on. Like I say, the tripartite born out of the conundrum or tobacco way we get during the elections. But however, be that as it may, some of us are cautiously optimistic that them recommendations then implement them to the letter. Then we get a reformed electoral system. Then we know down the road in 4 or 5 years or 2 or 3 election cycles, we encounter the same thing where one party within governance, they deceive the opposition. We know how to go down that road again. Because as I always can say, the problem where we get at Sierra Leone is sincerity of purpose. That those that are in governance, they are always finding loopholes, they are always finding deception for perpetuate them staying in power. So no matter how good a system they like how Mr. Jallo Jamboria the assert, now the human being themselves now them forget that sincerity today in themselves for let them implement waiting day in black and white. Mickey always say my own perception as far as Sierra Leone politics concerned, I not believe so much. Yes, there is okay. Yes, with the entrance legitimacy always. Yes, we go say we faith in them. But I always believe in the performance legitimacy. What I mean by that is waiting there in black and white. No matter how we rewrite this new constitution, whatever it is, 2026, 2027, or 2028 constitution, where they go insert all their some of their recommendations here, or we get another electoral act, we will come before the 2028 elections. If the implementation of them, that new constitution day, or that act of parliament day, is faulty in the hands of those who are in governance, we go always the rigmarole with the same problem. No matter who is in power, be it red or be it green, we go still the rigmarole. Next election cycle will come, we will get the same thing. The following election cycle will come, we will get the same thing because there is that lack of sincerity of purpose amongst them for implementing them because they are always thinking that it is only when you skewed the electoral system in your favor, now the only time that you go win. You don't believe say you go win genuinely by campaigning to the electorate. You sell the policies to the electorate, and let the electorate buy the policies and vote for you in power, irrespective of the region where the people engage. You can go now, if you come on at the south, you go now the north. If you sell good policies to the northerner go buy them. As long as there's something beneficial to them, they know say their life, and then picking a life, and grand picking a life, then go buy that policies. But the two entities, the red and the green entity, they are always devoid of such. So now some of them things and they make less. Some people don't love. Some people don't believe say again. Sierra Leone will go before. They don't go ever go move forward because of the type of people. Now, make some time ago, I make mention of ethics. That we for begin to teach ethics now and nationalism, patriotism as early as preschool. If we own generation, we don't miss them. Sometimes them picking and now we in a preschool, we in a primary school. If we inculcate the idea of nationalism and patriotism in them, that when them become adults, if they assume position of trust, therefore conduct themselves they diligently, devoid of corruption and devoid of any malpractice, we go bring bad name to themselves and their family. Only if.
All right, I think the system caught Mr. Abdullah. So the question was posed from the control room. Can we take one more question? Mr. Jamboria, at the risk of me taking that, let me take one more question. This is going to be the last. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you call from? Hello, caller. Hello. Okay, Mr. Mengot, we can go to you. Because we're almost, we've passed the end time of the program, but as a courtesy to the audience, if you get any comment to make, Mr. Jamboria, likewise, we can go ahead with doing. Go ahead.
Well, for me, a quick one, because I'm a final say this, and it resonates with waiting you can talk, waiting Mr. Jamboria can talk, and waiting Mr. Believe. Because recommendation 6, now I say, when Adani will continue for look at the next program, he say we forget an external review of the whole Electoral Commission, right? And we forget international benchmarking. That international benchmarking are just like what Mr. Jamboria been taught. We will look at what happened in a country like Ghana, like Kenya, where no. Then more importantly, you also talk about what you said in the talk. So that review day, the government get for work with people that were a public sector experts and people that were elections experts, right? And you know restrict them to say Sierra Leone no more. That makes sense. External functioning. So if we can forget that review day, as you can always say, let we get expert that we go rub much and help we. So now they go left my own last message and tell people and thank you, but we get a lot of work for do. This year what they do, now they come for change things. They will bring carpenter for can do masonry work. Because that's what we always do. So I'm telling you thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Jamboria, to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. My last word for today. If we mean for make Sierra Leone, let we look at what thing will build trust now in society. All the recommendations here as we see them, they may have a good intention, but maybe with social psychology, now we problem. So how do we use our social psychology for making the entire way they as recommendation work for we all? We don't pass that stage, or we should be thinking of passing the stage where politics for be an issue of grievance and revenge. Like where you rightly say, we they misuse or underuse the word consultation. When you look at the meaning of consultation, I mean, if Mr. Jamboria want to do something na VOSL, even though they get on the upper hand say, na him for take the front, but let I talk to the other people and say, I want to do so thing, how na see him? That consultation mean. But because we mentality not there for consult, everybody looks at himself as a different power entity. I believe say we first stop for the talk about consultation. Now begin use the word negotiation. Why negotiation? In trade unionism, where they go talk with the other man, the employer, we say they go negotiate because in get your own power, we get we own power. In own power, now in get in factory or now in get in workplace, now in they pay the salary. We own power now, who they do the work, oh no work, money no they come. So we go to negotiate so that we go meet each other halfway. Whatever we meet at, we call them an issue of collective bargaining. I think this is what we should be looking at in Sierra Leone. Because whether we like it or not, the realities of Sierra Leone is that Sierra Leone is a world that exists still up to 64 years only in a map. Now we come out na Kailaun in Sierra Leone na Kailaun. Now come out na Kabbalah in Sierra Leone na Kabbalah. Maybe we go change them sometime in the future, but we'll not get the mechanisms they yet in place. So if this is what we have now, let us modernize what we have now. That is why I'm talking about empowering chiefdoms for start development at grassroots. Coming back to the recommendations, as I say, reading through them, the meaning we they get, looking at them from the point of view of somebody who don't live in Sierra Leone, work there, and come to another society, we almost get the same population like Sierra Leone, where then they conduct elections, within 4 hours, 5 hours maximum, all the results don't come. I think say we need for revisit the wording of some of their recommendations here. And I go advise, I said it last week, and I'm saying it again. When they are sitting down to discuss these recommendations, it will be in the best interest of Sierra Leone. Let them get legal minds them nearby. We go help them for interpret their meaning here. Because law is about meaning, semantics. It's about meaning. What in people can get as the meaning, that's what the law they interpret. That's why, even when we get issues with interpretation, then they say, okay, and go now the Supreme Court. Not so, sir. We go interpret.
Yeah.
So let we get legal minds then nearby, we go assist, because I see a lot of ambiguity in their recommendations here. We tomorrow go lead we back to zero. Because now the zero now make we go to tripartite. If we mean to make Sierra Leone a better place, as Albert Einstein say, you cannot use a method that caused the problem to solve the problem. You cannot. And that's what I see in these recommendations. May God help all of us. Say amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Jamboria. And with respect, because Mr. Mengot does say we will continue with some of the recommendations then. I will hope that what we are seeing as recommendations are not the same, should not be construed as the mechanism or the details in terms of implementing the recommendation. Because I think the details, as far as implementations of some of their recommendations, I think will be the real nitty-gritty so far. So, but again, as we say, we get that in front of us. We get to try to see how do we go about it. And let me thank all we wonderful callers them, some of whom sent written comments, some of whom called Mr. Sise, Mr. Tailu, Mr. Dauda, Mr. Mustafa, Mr. Abdul, and so on, and the many others, and some of whom were not able to reach. My apology, but this is a 2-hour show. We've done 2 hours, 15 minutes. So we've gone, and because of the fact that this is the month of Ramadan, in Sierra Leone, they don't already break fast, but then go for what we call nafila prayer. So this, if we hang on to this discussion, it will encroach on the time for people to go pray even in Sierra Leone. Now, North America, we say with the Canada and President, it definitely will encroach on people in time for break them fast. So because of that, we play this balancing act. So we greatly appreciate when taking the time for listening to we and make all them valuable contribution here. And we hope we will continue presenting the show in the spirit that we've been presenting it with a hope. And I hardly plead with those who feel it's hopeless, so Sierra Leone doesn't have any future. I think it is not. Now with, like Reverend Jesse Jackson get a phrase, keep hope alive. We almost must keep hope alive, because it is with hope that we will see a new dawn. So to everybody who are listening to we today, good evening, good night. We will see you again next Sunday, by God's grace.